Hello and welcome to day 6 of Living with Anxiety. It's a Tuesday. Why didn't I do yesterday? Yesterday was Memorial Day, and I was dealing with Memorial Day things. First, yes, I shaved my beard, so if anyone noticed and said, "Oh my God, you shaved your beard," it was actually due to some physical stuff. So I keep playing with my face, and I thought maybe shaving would make it less irritated, maybe help with that picking I was doing of my face. Um, I've noticed a little difference, not a lot. Maybe I just have to stop picking at my face. So Memorial Day. The reason why it was a stressor for me is this. Memorial Day, a lot of people forget what Memorial Day is all about. They think it's just armed forces, yay, hua, God bless USA type stuff. It's really about the soldiers who did make it home. The people who went to war didn't make it back. It has nothing to do with those who went, came home, survived. That's Veterans Day, our Armistice Day. I struggle with Memorial Day because I deployed, I was in the military, and there are people who didn't come home, and I kind of feel bad that I came home, which is a weird thing to say out loud. It's weird to hear yourself say, "I'm glad I lived," but I think a lot of soldiers struggle with that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but the soldiers I know, some of us struggle with that, not because we want to die or we want to um, end up that way. It's are we really American heroes? Are we really gung ho GI Joe if we didn't come home, you know, not alive? If we didn't have that tumultuous ordeal happen to our family, and that's a horrible thing to think about out loud. But that's something that stresses a lot of guys out is they kind of feel like it's not fair that they lived and they know others who didn't. I know people who I deployed with who passed away after they got home from things that happened to them while they were there. And while I've had health issues, I've had concern, mental health issues, physical health issues, things that have gone wrong with this beautiful body of mine. Since I've gotten out, I get treatment. I'm being taken care of. Not the best, but I'm being taken care of. Things are happening. Positive things are going on. And I'm doing what I can to take care of myself. Not everyone got that opportunity. A lot of people either had mental health stuff where they unfortunately succumbed to that, or they had physical stuff that didn't get treated till it was way too far gone and they couldn't get the help they needed. Both are horrifying to think of, and now it sounds stupid. Maybe it just sounds stupid to me. I stress out about that because what makes me special? What makes me feel like I'm allowed to thrive? I had a cookout yesterday with my grandson and my kids and my in-law, my daughter-in-law, and my father-in-law, and it was his birthday all at the same time. We had this, whole day enjoying the sun, getting some yard work done, playing in the garden, having a cookout. The whole night day was great. But there are soldiers who can't because they're not here. Or there's soldiers who can't because the system has failed them and they're stuck in a world that they can't get out of. And that kind of gives you that, what makes me worthy? Now, logically, I did my thing, I did my time, I did my more than my time, I gave up everything I had. Should be no reason I have this feeling. I do. Okay, and then, so that was yesterday, Memorial Day. It was a little bit of a struggle, but I kind of worked through it by just pushing myself, trying to get better, trying to be better, trying to remember the positives of the day. Then over the weekend was rainy in Maine. I know it's shocking. If you've lived in New England this past month, you understand. But I've also been struggling with this podcast online thing. People have commented on it to my face. It's weird when people say it online, not a big deal, but when they say it to my face, it all of a sudden becomes real. It becomes real because I'm kind of airing what I'm going through to the world. And my wife asked me pretty bluntly, which is the way she does things, if you don't want people to comment, why are you doing it? I think I'm doing it to kind of like a therapy. You talk to somebody and it helps kind of work things out. I talk through this. I do this to process what's going on in here. I met with my wife's spiritual mom, Brenda. Her name's Brenda, and on Saturday, and she reminded me that where I am, what I've been through, what we've been through as a couple, where we started from and where we are now, it's a completely different world. So when my wife and I got married, we just had our daughter. So, our daughter was born the 14th of November. We got married on the 17th of December. So she was like 4 weeks old, okay, a month and 3 days. We got married because the insurance company wouldn't pay for my daughter's surgery unless we were married, because I'd have to pay the difference back for the state for child support, even though we lived together. Different world than we are today, okay? So that's what we did. We got married. Now, we had no money, no idea what we were doing, no concept of reality. We were, I was 20, she was 19. We're not talking like the struggle was real, okay? And I think that's the point. We struggled. First 10 years, we struggled. My wife and I almost got divorced. Her family hated me. My family wasn't really fond of hers. Our kids grew up. I left the military. I came back from the military. Went back in the military. We had times at our church where we were heathens and we didn't know what we were doing, and people were really offended or scared by us because of the way we lived our life. And then other times where the people in our church and people in our community relied on us heavily. I was somebody who was ostracized for the way I did things, and other times people were so super happy with me and the way I did things. And I think that was confusing. It's confusing for 1 minute to hear someone at a church, someone in leadership, someone above you say, you're a great asset, and then the next time we don't think you're worthy, or we don't think you're in the right mind to do this, when 2 weeks ago you were, okay? And this is how we were for the longest time. We struggled because we didn't know what we were doing, okay? Any parent tells you, oh, I knew what I was doing as soon as my child came out, they're lying. Okay, they're lying to your face. I don't care how good of a parent you think you are. I don't care how bad of a parent you think you are. If you think you're a bad parent, you're probably actually a good parent, because you don't know what you're doing and you're doing your best. If your child hates you some days, but when they're in trouble, they still call you, you're not a bad parent, okay? When my kids were growing up, we had extra kids everywhere. Now, extra kids isn't like, hey, Josie has a friend and they want to sleep over for the weekend. No, it's like, hey, Josie has a friend and she wants to stay for the next 12 years. Hey, Josie has a friend, someone she knows from wrestling, and she runs away from home to your house. That's that's having a few kids. That's not, hey, my kid's best friend came over to visit. Having a bunch of kids is having parents come to you and say, hey, my kids need a break from us, and they said your house was a good idea. That was us. Or, hey, we don't know what we're doing as parents. Can you help us out? And we did that for the longest time. I also did a boys group where every Tuesday night I'd have boys who had not just issues at home, but I had a boy whose dad was going through chemo. He'd come to my house when dad was going to chemo. I had boys whose dad passed away, came to our house. I had boys whose dad ran away from home and never came back, came to our house. We had boys with perfectly good parents, came to our house. The point was we always had an open invitation. And the reason why I did mostly boys is because growing up as a kid, I had one or two positive male role models. I have a lot. And it's not my dad's fault. It's not my stepdad's fault. It's just the world was different. Okay? And what I realized is if I could give these boys a positive role model, even if it was for 3 hours a week, and mom could have a break, or dad, or whoever was in charge of their lives could have a break for 3 hours, it's a win for everybody. So they come to the house, we play video games, we watch movies, we play board games, we eat a bunch of junk food, they go home. Everybody's happy. But this past weekend, I also saw one of the kiddos just graduated high school. Actually, I think two are graduating high school this year. I saw pictures of one of them. The other one just graduated from the Maine Maritime Academy, and he thanked me for his recommendation letter that I wrote. And those are positive impacts I've had on people's lives. But I forget those in the moments of my stress, anxiety, despair that I put myself through. I forget that my wife and I have had more positive impact than negative on the world. And I forget that because we as humans are stupidly hardwired to remember the negative. We remember more of the negative than the positive. And the only time we remember the positives are if somebody tells us, reminds us, throws it back in our face. Or we're one of those people who pump ourselves up all the time and then we're called narcissistic. Okay. I've heard the saying, and I don't know how exactly how it goes, but basically, the only time people say positive things about you is when you're dead. You know, Picasso's one of the famous ones. You know, he wasn't a world-renowned artist and he died, and now he is. I said positive things about my mother at her funeral. I also said some things that were kind of sarcastic, and if you knew her, you understood, but if you didn't, you thought, oh, he's such a sweet boy. And that's kind of a weird thing in this world today is we talk about the positives about someone when they're alive. Like, Jimmy Carter passed away. Oh, Jimmy Carter was a great guy, great this, great that. But no one said he was a great president. He was a great human being, okay? But we never said he was a great human. Most people didn't even think about it. Habitat for Humanity, Jimmy Carter, okay? That's a big one. And he was a great man. I didn't agree with everything he stood for, but he was a good... If you're going to be a person like that, like, you know, a politician, be more of a Jimmy Carter than a Donald Trump. Nothing against Donald Trump, but he's closer to a narcissist than compassionate human being, okay? He likes hearing his own name, which is fine. If you're in that kind of power, you do what you need to do. Get it 100%. I'm not putting him down. Joe Biden. Trump put him down. Trump called him, you know, lots of names. Biden gets a cancer diagnosis, and Trump's like, oh, he's such a great guy. I feel for him. I pray for him. Joe Biden's going to die when he dies, and at his funeral, all these people are going to say nice things about him. These are the same people who pushed him out, who didn't want him anymore. Okay? And that's what happens. Happens all the time. You know, and that's something we should stop doing. It's kind of stupid that that's what we do. We decide, hey, we're going to destroy you while you're alive. But once you're dead, we'll be nice. And I don't know why we do it. You know, on my podcast, I talk about a gentleman named David Ingrassia. Okay. He was one of my male influence people. He's the reason I call this the category mistake. Okay. This man I've tried to pump up since I stopped hating him in my freshman year of high school. And I pump him up because this man, he chose to be a positive influence on people no matter what they believed, how they believed, or why they believed. He wanted to be present. And I think as as a Christian myself, as a God-fearing man, as a father, as a grandfather, as a husband, as a child of people, I forget sometimes the biggest reward, the biggest thing you can give your children, your grandchildren, your wife, your spouse, your husband, the humans around you, is to be present. To be present not just in your life, hey, this is what I'm doing, but to be present in their life, to understand what they're going through, to try to get it, to see what they're doing and appreciate what they're doing. I have children who I've been told many times I'm involved in their life too much. And there's a balance there that sometimes I miss. My son and his wife just paid off all their student debt. Okay. My daughter got a new job a couple weeks ago and she's loving it. I have other kids going through some struggles. I'm there for them if they need me. I have another daughter whose husband's going to be ex-husband is a total doofus. But right now she's trying to get into a better relationship, a healthier relationship. You go, girl. I'm happy for you. I'm there for you. And that's I think what's missing today is I see kids, I see adults who are afraid to say, hey, good job. I'm proud of you. I don't have to agree with them. I don't have to understand it fully. I don't have to say, I completely understand what you're doing in your life. I completely agree with everything you do with your life. What you can say is, hey, you're doing your best. If you're doing your best, if you're trying, if you're being supportive, if you're caring about your kids, if you're caring about your community, if you're trying to do something, I'm not going to beat you down because the world does that enough. What's the point? What I've realized with my anxiety, and this is something maybe I've realized before, but it's just coming deeper, is I set my mental bar so high I can never reach it. So I wake up every day and I'm supposed to be giving myself like 3 things to do every day. Okay, like today I'm going to do laundry, I got an appointment, and I'm going to be doing some stuff with my grandson. Okay, now that's what I know I can handle. But if I don't get 7 other things done that I think I should be doing today, I'm automatically going to get anxious, going to have some anxiety, I'm going to beat myself up, going to second guess myself, going to think my wife's going to hate me, going to think that people are going to be disappointed in me, and then I'm going to be disappointed in myself, and I'm going to rack my brain for hours saying, why was I so lazy and I didn't get this done? Okay? That's what I'm realizing more and more every day is, though I say I'm going to do 3 things, I'm going to be positive, I'm going to get 3 things done, and then I'm going to move on. I get 2 things done, and then the 3rd thing I don't get done until later. Automatically, I'm asking myself, what's wrong with me? Why am I not doing it? Then that pit in your stomach grows. That's when I start playing with my face more, playing with my head more, twitching more, stuttering more, and struggling to focus on that last goal. And I've learned that more and more by talking to people that I've dealt with forever. Okay. I hold myself to a standard that I don't hold other people to, and my wife calls me out all the time. She's like, it's a double standard. She's like, you are okay with me like this, but you have to be up here. And when I say, hey, you don't have to be, you say, well, I have to be. And you're like, well, I don't have to be. And it's a double standard. Yes, I get what a double standard is. And I hold myself to these things because I want people to love me. I want people to respect me. And I think that if I don't go 4,000 miles an hour and make everybody happy in my life, they won't love me. The unconditional love part. Unconditional love is hard for me to understand. Even with God, Jesus says, I love you, I forgive you your sins if you love me. Da, da, da. Okay, you don't have to do like drag yourself through hot coals. It's God's there for you. Okay, He loves you. That's hard for me to fathom still. I've heard it. I've said it to my kids. I've said it to other people. I am 100% behind it telling other people, but then I can't handle it myself. I can't handle it myself because why would any creation of time, any creator of time, anything that's breathing, love me if I do nothing? In my mind, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Why would anyone care about me if I don't benefit them? When I was deployed, I did lots of extra stuff. I worked all the time. I worked really hard. The reason I worked really hard and I worked all the time and I did lots of things and I managed to try to do lots of things wasn't because I wanted to be a super soldier. I wanted people in the unit to respect me and trust me and like me. The reason why I pushed my students so hard, the reason why I failed them but then they passed still, the reason why I pushed them the way I did was I wanted them to like and respect me as a teacher and understand that I had their best interests at heart. And so further down the line, they would look back as me being a teacher they could respect and enjoy. I wanted to be David Ingrassia. Now the funny thing is, David Ingrassia didn't do anything to me to make me love him or like him or respect him. He just taught. I try to make plans, and every time I made a lesson plan, I thought, okay, how is this student going to react to it? How is this one going to react to it? How am I going to fathom this, work with this, make this all work together? It was a challenge every day, and I think that also made it harder for me and made me more exhausted. When I worked with veterans not too long ago, every day I'd go in and say, okay, this veteran needs this veteran needs this. How am I going to make this happen so they're happy, so they think I'm working hard? Because I don't want them to think I'm not working hard. And that shouldn't have been my goal. My goal should have been do my job, do the best I can, and everything else works out. But instead, I racked my brain, stressed myself out every day to try to be the guy that people liked, respected, thought did a good job. Some days I did a good job. Some days I didn't. Some days teaching I was great. Some days I probably wasn't. And you know what? That's okay. But that's my big struggle is my wife loves me. She says she loves me. She's here. Like, she tells me a lot. She's like, I'm here. But the unconditional love, I've done a lot of stupid things. Right now I'm going through a lot of things. I don't know how she loves me. I don't know how she deals with it. It'd be a struggle. Now, I would love her if she went through that. Yes, that's the whole double standard part. But her loving me for the way I am is a little hard for me to get. People watching this and saying, hey, I respect you, I like it, I understand. I have a lot of questions, I have a lot of weird ideas, I have a lot of weird concepts, I have a lot of whatever. That's hard for me because all of us feel like what we're going through is what we're going through and no one else understands. And then you say stuff to a general audience like say YouTube or TikTok or whatever. And then people are like, oh my gosh, I understand. I'm going through something similar. And you think to yourself, but no. And it's not like, hey, I feel like I'm not special because someone else is going through it. It's the feeling of, is it a good thing or a bad thing what I'm doing? Is it a good thing or a bad thing that people are watching what I'm doing and commenting and not hating it? Because if they're liking it, are they liking it because they might know who I am? Are they liking it because my stories are something that makes sense to them? Are they liking it because they're, weird people who just like videos? Or are they watching it and connecting with it because what I'm saying makes them feel like they're not alone? And the last one is the one that scares me the most. Because if you are connecting with what I'm saying and you finally feel like you're not alone, then whatever I'm going through, you're going through worse, and I'm sorry. Having the feeling that no one cares or no one connects with you, I went through that about a year and a half ago now, almost 2 years ago, and maybe it was 2 years ago now. And I really thought my life was over. I was there, man. I had done some dumb things, and I couldn't understand how to quote unquote fix it. I couldn't understand how to work through it. I couldn't understand how to make it better. I couldn't understand why anyone would want me to make it better or to be better. I couldn't understand why anyone would even care. And I was ready to give up. It was scary. It was scary, and I just believed no one was there for me. Then people came and said, "No, listen, you're an idiot. Stop." Now, they didn't say I was an idiot, but that's in my head. That's what I heard. We're here. And at first, I didn't believe them. I kind of just played the game. But no matter how stupid I was getting for that 2 or 3 month period after that, they never wavered. They kept supporting me, and it was scary. It was scary because until that moment, I didn't think I was worth anyone's time, let alone, I didn't think God cared. I didn't think my wife cared. I didn't think anyone that called me their friend cared. I felt like no one was there for me. And my problems were my problems. They were self-inflicted, and no one wanted to help or could help or would help. And thankfully, I'm here today because I answered my phone when someone called me and said, "Hey, stop. We're here for you." So if you're going through this and you're going, I'm connecting with you because no one talks like this, no one explains things like this, no one's here for me like this, then I'm here. Again, I've said this before. I'm here. If you don't want to talk to me, a total stranger, or you know me, but you don't want to talk to me because you're kind of embarrassed, call somebody. Call a friend, call a pastor, call a random church, call a random therapist, call a sports radio show, call anybody. Pick up the phone and call somebody, or walk down the street and go someplace to a coffee shop and just talk to the barista and say, "Hey, good morning." Do something. Get in the community. Find someone that you can talk to. Because do a YouTube thing. Talk to nobody, but talk to somebody at the same time. I mean, I'm talking to my face. I'm looking at the camera, talking to my face, looking at this sign above my head on my fake wood walls. And it helps. Just addressing the feeling helps. Addressing the feeling of loneliness, of emptiness, of despair, of stress, of just blah helps. So that's your goal, my goal, every day. Fight the anxiety, fight the stress, fight the feeling of of hopelessness with hope, with conversation, with not willpower, because I think willpower is a myth, with communication, with groups, with a family, prayer, meditation, whatever you do, take a second, take a deep breath. Remember, you're worth it. You know, you matter. You matter today, you matter tomorrow, you matter next week. You matter. Okay? Till tomorrow, guys. Thank you for watching.